What's going on, all gamers? Here we are back with some more Diablo 2 Resurrected, and today I'm going to be going over some recipes for your Horadric's cube that I think you pretty much have to know. They're going to make your life a lot easier if you're playing Diablo, and some of them might well be essential. So if you want to know some of the best recipes for the Horadric's cube and how to make life a little bit easier in Diablo 2, then stay tuned, that's coming up next. Welcome back, all you gamers. As always, for all things gaming, for all things Xbox, and want to hit that subscribe and bell icon. But for today, I'm here to tell you my 5 favourite Horadric cube recipes that I think you pretty much can't live without. Now, if I don't go completely in depth in these and you want to know, I'll more than likely have them on my channel, or will be doing it in the future, so just check out the channel and there'll be more on there for that. But kicking it off, we have number 1, which is upgrade runes. Now, as you play Diablo, you are more than likely going to be finding an abundance of runes. These range all the way from a really nice easy ones to get hold of, such as L, all the way up to Zod, which is a much harder one, and you may well never see one of these drop. There are 33 different runes, and their drop chance as it goes up in rank can be much harder to obtain, meaning getting hold of those Zods or even those burrs and such can be really difficult. However, if you're trying to craft some recipes and you have a lot of runes, this works best on early to mid runes. You can upgrade them yourself. What you gotta do is chuck 3 of the same rune type into the Horadric's cube and then press transmute. This will change it up to the next level. Like I said, there's 33 different rune types. Think of 1, 2, 3 every single time it goes on. Think of it as its kind of next rarity of sorts. So every time you put 3 into the Horadric's cube and you transmute them, they're going to go to that next type. One thing to note, as the rarity increases, so does the cost of the recipe, and you will be needing to use some gems, ranging from lower cost chip gems all the way up to those perfect gems if you're trying to make those really tough recipes for late game runes. But this can really help you out if you're in a bind and you need just one single rune and you just can't seem to find it. You may well be able to make it yourself and then craft the rune word you're after. Next up, and for number 2, we've got socketing white items. Now, this can help you out in no end. In almost every other game, white items, grey items, you're never going to look at them. In Diablo, it's completely different, and they can be turned into some of the best things in the game, using those rune words. Now, obviously, one thing you can do with white items is the Resurrected quest, which is going to roll the maximum amount you can have on that item. Depending on its level, that works really well in your favour. But you can also roll sockets on any white item just by using the right recipe in the Horadric's cube. Now again, it is a little bit of RNG as it will roll random sockets, but it's very similar to as if you're rolling a dice. It will roll between 1 to 6 depending on what the item level is and what the maximum amount of sockets that item can have on it, and whatever you roll, it will put that on it. This means that very often you will be getting high sockets on those white items, and it can really work in your favour if you're not finding the loot you're after with those grey items. Maybe sometimes you can make your own luck. Next up, and we've got upgrading gems. Very similar to the runes, the gems also come in different rarities, ranging from chipped all the way up to perfect gems. If you chuck 3 of the same type of gem into the Horadric's cube and you press transmute, it's going to upgrade to the next stage. This can really help you out if you're trying to use them for other recipes, or if you're trying to put them on your armor types. For example, if you're trying to put magic find into a helmet or some other slot and you want to make sure that you've got the highest possible, you're going to try and transmute things and get those perfect topaz. This can really work out well, as finding those perfect gems can be really difficult in game. So often you're going to find yourself picking up as much flawless as you can and then converting those into the perfect ones in order to save yourself a lot of hassle. Next up, and just very endgame focused, one of the things you'll definitely want to know if you're going to be playing Diablo for a while, and that is crafting caster rings and amulets. These can be some of the most powerful items in the game. They're really fun to do, they do cost a pretty penny, you do have to have a lot of resources, but once you know what you're doing, you can find that it becomes quite addictive. Because again, like I said, even though it rolls randomly, what you're going to do is you're going to chuck these resources into the Horadric's cube, and then when you tap that transmute, it's going to give you a random amulet or a random ring depending on what recipe you've used. Some of these are really sought after, and some of these, like I said, can make for some of the strongest things in the game, because again, they can roll those plus to skills. Anytime you can get plus to skill on your character will definitely work in your favour, but one thing to note with these, like I said, it is very much a late game activity. Most people tend not to start crafting until after they are probably around 90, maybe even 92, because apparently it's got a slightly higher chance to roll those +2 to skills. so definitely one worth noting. However, it is one you'll only be doing if you're going to be playing the game for quite some time and you really want something that's very endgame viable and you've got a lot of resources behind you. Now last but definitely not least, coming in at number 5, one recipe that you cannot live without. Well, you can, but everyone probably will do this at least once during their Diablo playthrough, and that's the secret cow level. Now to get the secret cow level is probably not as much a secret as it should be. You're just going to grab yourself a Wurt's leg, you're going to grab yourself a Tome of Tan portals from pretty much any vendor, you're going to chuck it in the Horadric's cube, and it's going to give you access to the secret cow level. Now this can be a real fun thing to try once or twice, but also it can net you some really nice rewards. Quite often you'll find that if you are grinding cows, you're able to get yourself quite a few gems and quite a few base armors or base items for those rune words, because a lot of greys drop here, so it is definitely worth doing. Also, another really good thing that they've updated, whereas before if you killed the Cow King you would not be able to get back in and it was a kind of a one and done feature on each difficulty, now you can do this as many times over as you want. Grab another leg, grab another tome and create as many portals as you want, meaning you can farm cows to your heart's desire. A really fun thing to do and definitely worth trying a few times over because you can also get some really nice runes in here with a bit of luck. Well, you gamers, that's my top 5 picks for the Horadric's cube. I think these recipes are definitely worth knowing because they can really help you out in pretty much all areas of the game. As always guys and girls, for all things gaming, for all things Xbox and a lot more Diablo and other stuff on the way, take care, I'll see you on the next day.